Hello, chefs. This is Chef's PSA Podcast. I'm your host, André Natera. Today we have a special episode. The Michelin Guide recently came to Texas. So I got a few friends together and we talked about the Michelin Awards. The lineup today includes two brand new Michelin award-winning chefs, Evan LeRoy from LeRoy and Lewis Barbecue, one of the first barbecue restaurants ever in the world to receive a Michelin star. Rico Torres, you may be familiar with him. He's been on the show before. From restaurant Michelin in San Antonio, newly awarded a Michelin star. Legendary Texas chef Paul Key, Top Chef winner, restaurateur in Austin. Chef Matthew Peters, the first American to ever win the Bocuse d'Or and has worked in many Michelin 3-star restaurants. And then myself, and we just sit around and have a good time. I hope you enjoy this conversation. Chefs, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
I have to ask, how was the awards? Because obviously none of us got invited.
Or was already invited. Well, you walk in. There was a red carpet. There was a step and repeat, so you could take pictures with everybody. Yeah. I managed to go. I was out looking for a bathroom, so I didn't get into the picture with the rest of the team that made it on all the socials and stuff. You go in, and there was a bunch of champagne and wine and food all over the place. There was a caviar station in the back. There slices serrano. Ham in the back from the background too, yeah. And then you get in and everybody's all dressed up, all the homies are there. And then everybody's looking for the real bar. Yeah, take it from there.
It was an incredible night. We went to dinner with a bunch of chefs from Austin beforehand at Pappas Brothers, so we had a really nice big celebratory dinner and kind of was really good to connect with the community before it. And then we got there kind of like right before it started. And then they, called everybody, and we were announced last. So it was very, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah. I would say it was faster than James Beard, though. James Beard was like one after another, do a speech, and then call up your friends. And like 2 hours later, you're kind of like, what's going to happen?
The host was good. I liked the host.
Yeah,
I was joking with someone. I was like, I could host that shit. Well, of course you can. I could get on stage, but then when I was listening to her speak, I was like, no, she's good. She's good. Like I got to give her credit. She's good. They did it was the CEO that come up, the French guy, I can't remember his name, and several others after that. I'll tell you from, I was in a couple of group texts. I think I was in one with Matt and Junior, right? I was in another one with like Gabe, and I was like in several, and it was funny because when they were announcing the awards. Yours was one of the first ones that got called up, right? It was the Service and Hospitality Award. So I was like, oh yeah, that was like the groups.
Dude, that for me, that was nicer than the star itself because it really shows how hard the team's been working. And they're the ones that really get us there, right? And that meant a lot. It means a lot more to me. You just have that. But also it feels like the cherry on top.
Yeah. And so when you were called on stage, so again, I'm watching it and I noticed that you haven't been called. So I'm like, this is kind of good. Right? Because I'm happy. I'm like, okay, that means they're getting their star. At least I'm thinking that. And then when you finally got called up, it was really nice to see. And I saw Diego take off his coat. That was like a nice moment.
Yeah.
Did you know it was coming?
We've always said that if we only get one jacket, it's going to go to Alex. Always. He got it ahead of me.
Yeah.
That's it. But I mean, that's from the heart, and that's how we feel.
How did you guys feel when, because there was a point when they're announcing and they're like, and we have the heart of Texas. Like, I don't remember how they phrased it, but there was like.
So they announced all the recommends and they skipped, did it alphabetical and they skipped L. I was like, this is amazing. We're getting a bib. And then they did the bibs and they skipped L. And I was sitting next to another barbecue pitmaster and he was like, dude, it's you. And I grabbed my wife's hand really hard. And then they started to announce the stars, and they skipped L again. And I was like, okay, they forgot about us, because there's no way that, a single star for barbecue restaurants out of the question, too, is, so far out of the universe. And then they waited and did all the barbecue ones at the very end, so they did us very, very last. So they made me wait very long.
That way?
You were the last one? Yeah, the last one.
I just had to wait till they got to M. Yeah, that's just like, you're right.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but awesome.
And how, we were talking, but you said you've doubled basically
Pretty much, yeah.
The line has gone twice as long.
Yeah, everybody else is like, yeah, we were just booked out forever. And we're like, well, ours is just, first come, first serve. So, yeah, Friday was like up 100%. Saturday was up like 80%. Like everything's just up, up, up. It's great. It's great.
Well, I saw you guys posted like sold out till January.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, sold out. But people try, and I try too, because things change all the time. So
Yeah.
if you're on the wait list, I hope people hearing this won't think like I don't want to go until next year when it slows down. Try.
Gotta hit you up.
Yes, just gotta hit it up. Yeah.
Just hit you up. Be like, hey man, you get any extra seats?
Get on that notify list. Shit changes all the time, so we never know. And if I want to get everybody in, but I just can't get everybody in at 7. Like that's at Friday.
That's a true story. Right.
Yeah, exactly. But we're opening up extra times, even Sundays maybe if we get to it. I don't know.
Do you feel pressure because of the being, part of the first group of chefs to win a Michelin star in the barbecue?
I can't fully describe the amount of pressure I feel. Absolutely. It is, I'm familiar with Michelin star restaurants as a person in the industry, not as a person who's worked at one, but a person who's dined at a couple. And I know that the level that it takes to execute that food and that service in those spaces is extraordinary. I'm not, before the ceremony, I was like, okay, I don't think we're a star restaurant, but if that is the thing that happens, then we're going to work like hell to get there. So we've laid that out to the staff. I'm feeling that every moment of every day. And so we're really trying to rise to the occasion.
Were any of you guys surprised, like, who wasn't called?
I don't know. I had some guesses, but I mean, I don't know if I was surprised or not because I figured it was going to be. I guess I wanted to be surprised, so I didn't have any ton of conversations with other chefs in town.
Yeah,
I just wanted to see how it rolled out.
Yeah.
Part of it's you can be surprised by.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ideas of what people had. I think there's all the talent that was in that room. I think you could probably sit there and say any one of them probably could have been added to that list. But then again, it's just like, that's part of Michelin. It's a difficult space to get in. And so I applaud, the two of you that are here today. It's just like, it's an amazing feat to be able to get there. But it's like, going back onto the pressure side of things, it's like, think about like what you did to get there. Right. Yeah. And everything that you've done to get there, it's just like, all you have to do is just keep doing that.
Yeah. And I think, and it's easy to say that, but yeah, consistency is
the biggest issue there. Because, but the thing is, it's like now you have, having accomplished that in the excitement that's already in the room. So everybody's fueled right now. I'm sure, Rico, like your whole team is fueled, fired up and ready to go. So it's like, it's like they're naturally just going to succeed at that because that energy is already in the room. So again, like don't shift. I think a lot of people have to sit there with Michelin thinking like you have to shift, to continue to accomplish that goal. And I think it's just like outside the box, unless you're shooting for 2.
Do you think it's the sifting though, or they're going stagnant? Because from what I hear from a lot of people, right, like they want to go, you get that first star and you want to just stay there, right? You go to the second, you're always going to go for the third. Once you get into the third, you're stuck being a certain way, and you can't. You're stuck. You're basically into a mold, right, at that point, and you got to fit that mold every single time and not push anymore or not change anymore. Is that true? Oh yeah, I was asking Mac. I was like, would you agree on that? Because I feel like you've worked at probably 1, 2, and 3-star restaurants, right?
Yeah.
And once you get to the 3rd star, do you think that restaurant stays the same just to keep the 3rd star, or do you think it'll push more, do different things to kind of reinvent itself again? Like part of the initial growing process.
Yeah, the 3-star restaurants that I've been involved with, we had a natural progression, right? We had the way that Thomas set up both Per Se and the French Laundry. It was built with the changing menu. It forced us to continue to evolve and change. So in that perspective, it gave us the ability to continue to push for, our 3rd star and continue to keep everything energized. The other part of it too is just, thinking of like 1-star restaurants, some people don't want to be a 2-star.
Yeah.
Some people don't want to be a 3-star, right? And I think that's, even for me, I would rather have a really cool 2-star.
Yeah.
That's fun and exciting than to push for this 3rd-star that could be pretentious. And that's what I'm, outside of this box. Yeah, exactly. So for me, it's, it's about the business first and the people within the business. And I think maintaining that part of it is crucial. And then all the awards and all the other fluff that comes along with it is
whatever.
it is what it is. It's great to be recognized. I'm not taking anything. I want a star more than anybody. Maybe a couple for that matter, but
I won't say I don't.
exactly. Anybody who says that they don't really care, I mean, you saw it in the write-ups too. People are, it means a lot, and I think hopefully this changes some perspective on different people with Michelin, and also maybe good, maybe bad, I don't know. But I just feel like it's going to drive people and push people on how do I get to that point, right? And I think that's exciting because Texas is such a great market with a lot of great restaurants, and to see finally this to come out, and then all these people sitting there were like, well, how do we get a star next year, right? And I think that's going to put some fire in people's belly and get up and start doing something about it. So I'm excited about it.
I'm going to ask Paul. So you have two of the hottest new restaurants right now in Austin that were opened after the Michelin Guide was announced. Are you pushing for the star, or are you just pushing for a great restaurant, or does
Right now,
it not matter?
Matt was saying, like, I'm just trying to make sure the business flourishes first. That's all I'm really focused on. I mean, opening restaurants, it's very taxing on your bank account.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, whatever it takes right now, let's get these 2 up and running. Let's get it packed. Let's get it busy. Then let's work on all the other stuff. But of course, I think, the team from the service guys, like our buddy Alex and Dylan really want to push for it, because that's the wheelhouse they came from, right? That's what they want to bring here. But from the culinary side, I think as long as the guys are passionate and they love what they're doing, and my team's excited right now, that's what I'm focused on. And as long as people are coming through the door, that's what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it surprise any of you? Like, I know I was surprised on a couple. A few that surprised me. Misty Norris in Dallas, not even getting mentioned anywhere. I thought that was a little bit. I thought she's done a pretty good job, at least to get recommended. Another one that surprised me was, I hate to say Franklin, kind of surprised. I thought he wrote the press release, to be honest with you. No, I'm kidding. I'm just busting his chops, but I was a little bit surprised that he didn't get up there. Uchi was a big shock for me, because I feel like Uchi's a legacy restaurant in Austin, and a lot of the restaurants that were recommended, I was like, Uchi should have been somewhere, whether it's there was 3 different categories that were
recommended. Like, you recommend bad.
Yeah, you should recommend it. Like I feel like they put a lot of work to get.
I'm Austin recognized through there.
Yeah.
So a lot. Yeah. Like. I mean, but I think his CDC also, right? And then some of your team, or you went there, right? No. Sorry, yeah. But there's a lot, man. Yeah, like Joshua Wiseman. Like, there's a lot of people that went through there, right? Amanda Turner, Gabe Morales,
Sterling.
Sterling. Yeah.
For it not to get anything, I thought that was like, okay, that's an Austin legacy restaurant. Some of the restaurants in Dallas, shout out to those guys. Peja, I thought, he's a phenomenal chef. I was really happy to see him get his bib. Houston shocked me. I got to be honest with you, and I feel guilty about this. I don't know a lot of the restaurants in Houston.
Yeah.
But it was nice.
Man, honestly, I thought I was rooting for the Neo guys, because, what they're doing is pretty cool, and I think their execution's super high end. They're just a tiny restaurant that's really hard to get into, right? I mean, March wasn't really a surprise to me. I know June was going to get it regardless, right? I mean, all their stuff is custom in that restaurant, man. It's gorgeous, like.
Well, I was saying, we walked into June for dinner one night with the whole team, and we're like, what's going on here? They look just like Michelin. So that space had been the exact same space that Michelin was before that at Steel City Pops. Like, it had big old windows just like Michelin does, the background.
Yeah.
It was like a little copy of our spot, or ours of theirs. Yeah. It's just insane.
Did it surprise anyone that there were no 2 stars?
No, because I mean, if they're gonna be here for a while, they gotta like leave something for season 2.
Also, you got to look at it. It's like all those who, how many one-stars were there? 14?
14 and
14. So you would have to look at every single one of those and which one gets 2, right? That's true. You know, maybe there's a handful you could throw into the bag of that, but it's, I mean, 2 stars is a difficult process. And also, typically, Michelin does not award a 2-star out the gate. I mean, if you get a 2-star out the gate, it's very few.
Yeah.
And it's almost, if you get 2 out the gate, that means you're on your way to getting a 3rd potentially, at least the quality aspect of it. So
Mexico only got 2 right out the gate too.
Who got 2 in Mexico?
Got Puyol and Quitonin.
Yeah, he was gonna get that though. They were gonna get that for sure.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's a different.
So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
for you guys over at Michelin, does this motivate you to push for 2, or are you enjoying the 1 sweet spot?
Oh no, we're always gonna push.
Yeah.
Whether there was stars or not, we're always gonna push. If the 2 comes, fucking amazing. We're gonna just work harder to keep it.
Yeah.
But the real pressure that we've been feeling isn't that we had a star now and we got to keep it up, or that we're going to possibly work towards another one. The pressure was before, when business was fucking slow.
Yeah.
And that was real pressure. That was real do or die shit. And so now it's just like, hey, well, we've always worked this way anyway, so we're just keeping up the pace that we were already doing, to what you were saying earlier. And constantly tightening the screws and oiling the machine. That's all we do. Is constantly squeezing it.
Do you it's funny, when I was opening up the over here in Garrison, and we had a
That's Garrison.
oh yeah, I mean they got record. By the way, I had my canned response. If Garrison got a star, it was because I was there, and if they didn't, it's because I'm not there. I guess because like I'm not there anymore. That's why they didn't get it. If they got it, it's like yeah, because I was there. I had my canned answer ready to go. But when we were opening, we rented a house behind Laundrette.
Okay.
And then I think La Barbecue used to be in the Quickie Picky up the street from Laundrette. And so every day, you know, that was our lunch. We'd go to the R&D, and then we'd go grab some La Barbecue for lunch. It was like, man, I was eating 1 Michelin-star restaurant every single day for R&D.
Yeah.
Wasn't even thinking about it then. Does the... So it was 4 barbecue restaurants that were...
4 barbecue places.
Four barbecue. Did it... I know you kind of touched on it, but what's the impact that has? Like, that's so special.
Yeah.
Like the first in Texas.
It's massive. First of all, it's a recognition that barbecue, even though it's a casual service style, is just as difficult to do as some of this, you know.
I mean, it's more difficult.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Like,
Yeah.
hanging out a trailer, like doing all that stuff. Oh yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
Yeah, we were talking about different positions in the restaurant the other day, and like our person who works hot sides basically has to like act as a host, a server. Like they're actually serving food, they're communicating stuff down the line. Like that service aspect, even though it's a more casual setting, it can be more difficult at times too, because you have like less control over the situation. Like you really have to engage with people over other people. You have to serve people really quickly too. So like casual service is an art form in itself. And to be recognized for, you know, obviously food, the whole restaurant is just, it's awesome. I was really surprised that the kind of like spectrum of barbecue places, because if you take the way that they announced it, like alphabetically, Corkscrew in Houston is probably the most classic. La Barbecue has a little bit of Austin flair. Interstellar, John Bates is like really an amazing chef, so it's like even more like that. And I think LeRoy and Lewis is kind of like the weirdest one of the bunch. But I was really impressed with the fact that they honored kind of different styles of barbecue.
Did anything surprise you at the awards?
Yeah, big time. I mean, having been, a follower of Franklin Barbecue, and then like being a peer, and Aaron's my friend, like, that was very shocking to me that they did not get a star. It was shocking to me that Truth Barbecue in Houston didn't get a star. Other than that, I mean, I don't know. I think I wasn't that surprised that they announced stars for barbecue. Like when they came down, they made a big deal of saying, we're going to look at Texas barbecue. And so we heard that and didn't really think that, that would be a thing. Like, we thought that pretty much a bunch of barbecue places would get bibs. And that's kind of what we expected going in. So, I mean, getting a star was shocking.
Yeah.
And I still have not really wrapped my head around it. But
So I'm going to ask Matt, you've been, I mean, almost your entire career, right? In the Michelin world, whether it's, 3-star, per se, Ducasse, wherever you've been, and not just been in that world, but it's also your social circle, right? These are all the people that you know. How does the Texas Awards impact Michelin moving forward, in your opinion? How does it change things?
Good question. I don't. In terms of this state altogether, or people
In terms of this
restaurants,
in terms of the state of Michelin.
the state of Michelin. I think that the great part about this is you're seeing the expansion of Michelin and the different styles of food around the world. I think that's one of the biggest things that needs to be recognized, that a lot of people think, oh, it's just a European-based, rating system. So if you're not a little bit French or you're not a little bit of this European flair, that you're not going to get recognized in the Michelin Guide. And that's just not true, right? And I think part of their process was, we need to expand, we need to get into different parts of not only here in the U.S., but different parts across the world. And you start to see the quality of food and cuisine that each one of these areas has. So, there's great food trucks in China that get awarded for some of these things. And it's the quality and the consistency of the food that they're really kind of judging upon. So, that's kudos to like the barbecue element of it. I mean, to be able to execute this style of meat, whatever varietal it may be, and do it at such a high level and be consistent at it. And I think that's like that's what really wavers, from those who are getting it and not getting it. It's the consistency aspect of it. And I think it's being on it day after day, right? And I think that's for every guest that comes in that door, you are putting up, the best service that you possibly can that day. And I think that's being recognized by these two gentlemen across. So, and I think from, a Michelin standpoint, I think it's diversifying the belief of what Michelin does and what it rates for. And, I think this is one great step forward.
Yeah. You look like someone was on your mind.
Oh, I was just thinking about the taqueria in Mexico City. That was kind of a big surprise. But again, consistency. And how Michelin is really looking at the food and the quality more than the atmosphere. I mean, we still train our guys to look for pieces of trash behind the toilet paper, in between shifts. Sometimes I throw it there myself just to see if they'll get it. But going and cleaning the bathrooms is such a huge part of our service, and maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. But it's not going to stop for us. I mean, hate for you to go backwards now.
So I don't know where I read this, and unfortunately I may have just read it on someone's Instagram post, or I may have read it in an article. But someone said that Michelin is judging, like it's all about the food. That service isn't weighted as heavy. And there was a statement. It appeared that the statement was made by someone from Michelin, a representative, which I didn't know that was a thing. I thought it was heavily service. I thought service played as much of an impact as food. But
I would say that from my experience, I think it depends on the market. Like, so I group certain markets kind of in the same group as far as Michelin. Like, I feel like Mexico did the same thing as Texas, did the same thing as like Hong Kong, right? Where you're like, I went to a 1-star dim sum place there, and I had to wash my own bowls and all that stuff. And, the place was covered with water, and it was a hole in the wall, but they got a 1-star. But I think there's certain market that's really focused on the food. Same thing in Thailand, I think, right? But, like, there's certain markets where it's only the fine dining high end, and I'm sort of glad that we landed on the other side of it.
Well, it's also about the connection between the chef. It's the story, right? It's the emotions that you're feeling within it. So some of those emotions are brought to life through the service and the plateware, and that's part of the song and dance that chef has curated.
Yeah.
And so not everything needs to be on $500 plates, right? Now, can you get a 3-star in the version of a barbecue? Yeah, probably.
Favorite plate? Well, except
I mean, I think that would change. I mean, you want to see a change of landscape for Michelin? I mean, that would be phenomenal. But it's going back to what a third star means. It's worth that complete detour, that travel, that trip to that specific destination, and you're going there just for that. It's drawing you into an area that you probably wouldn't have gone. That's what the French Laundry did, right? The French Laundry, before the French Laundry set up, nobody really kind of went out there to dine. But then once the French Laundry was established, people were going to Napa Valley to go dine at that restaurant. And now listen, they were going out there for wine and other things, but it was never a destination point for cuisine or to go. And so people were purposely driving up there just to go eat at that restaurant. And that's what a third star is, and that's what it does. Now, along with the quality and everything else that goes along with it. But, service, you can't sit there and say that service and the presentation of food doesn't sway your perspective of taste and experience. Right. So I think that's, some of that goes hand in hand. But it's also living
at the end of the day, it goes down to the experience of the inspector as well, right? To what you're saying. Yeah. To what they're really getting.
So service does, but I mean, for me, I know if I go into a really nice, beautiful restaurant, I'm expecting nice service. So if I'm not getting that, it'll get in the way from me of judging the food. Right. And I think that's kind of, it's a weird balance. I think when you start getting into the 2 and 3 star kind of aspect of it, but you can't say the service and the execution of the food doesn't play into the overall mindset of the flavor of the food.
Right. And also
to some degree,
setting, right? It has to be, I mean, if you're at Noma, right, it's beautiful and there's the water right there. If you're at the French Laundry and it's Napa or Meadowwood or wherever, or if you're in New York and it's in a beautiful building, I do feel like also the setting matters.
Everything matters, I feel like in it. Right?
I mean, if you're not walking through that entryway with all those reindeer antlers and you're not eating, the duck off of the beak of this duck, and it's that if you just put that duck tongue on whatever it is, you just on a plain white plate, you're gonna be like, that's it. So I think it's part of the experience. Now, it's probably beautifully executed. It could taste phenomenal, but your mind now is already saying that's like, what is this? Why am I not getting more? Right. And so I think that starts to dictate some changes. So that's why you have to, it's theatrical, right? And people want to be entertained. And part of that, when they go out and spend money specifically at a large dollar value, they want theater, they want the song and dance, they want absolutely constantly pouring them love and appreciation and pouring their water and doing all these things,
to the extent that the food comes third sometimes.
Yes,
it has to be the atmosphere, the service. I mean, you have to, the way I tell the team is we got to get them to fall in love before we even set down the first plate, right? And so there's all these kinds of things that we do, but also it has to be each individual person. So kudos to you guys because you're getting this high volume of people coming in and you have to hit that sixth sense. And for the life of me, I can't remember who said this last week, that they teach their team that there's this sixth sense and that's the person. That's the guest. So if they're hearing this, I know that I didn't invent this, but you have to be able to read that person from the get. And with so many people at the same time, and like you said, speaking over somebody else, that's tough.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, that's also kudos to y'all's passion. That's what your team is passionate. They believe in the product. They believe in you. They believe in what you're doing. And for me, that's the essence that you're trying to take. Right?
Yeah, wear the jersey.
It is really about the team.
How did your when you got back to the restaurant, both of you, how did the team feel? Like, how did you guys celebrate?
I got a video of your team celebrating your win. What team was at your restaurant? Did they send me the video?
That's pretty awesome, actually. Yeah, a bunch of the team was watching at the restaurant. Everybody was really excited. I made a point to put the jacket on every person on the team.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just because they do 99% of the work. I'm there to check on them and make sure that they're doing their job, and kind of just tap the bumpers a little bit and keep people kind of on this right path. But it was It was so weird. It still is so weird. I still don't know how to react to it. One of our pitmaster, Cole, said he had a good analogy. He said it was like one day we were throwing the football around the backyard, and the next day we won the Super Bowl.
That's an excellent analogy.
You're kind of just like having fun one day, and then the next it's like, oh my God, that's old. But yeah, we're trying to live up to it. We're gonna have like a celebratory Friendsgiving thing coming up soon. Yeah.
Yeah. What about your team?
Well, half the team was already at Michelin because Haley and Lauren had been invited, and so that allowed us 8 tickets to go, which I think was rare for a lot of other teams. But then they celebrated at home, and I didn't get to see them again until Wednesday when we all got back to the restaurant. And then I showed up super late because I was still driving in from Houston. But it was just an overall around feeling of hugs and love and admiration for each other, really. Then it was balls to the wall busy, like an hour later. So it's not much time for anything. Really, we're getting together on Sunday for this coming Sunday for actual Friendsgiving dinner ourselves as well to celebrate that.
It was interesting how heavy Austin got the awards, right? I think more than any city, right?
Yeah.
And then Houston after that, and then San Antonio and Dallas each got one. Fort Worth didn't get any. I kind of feel bad because I do think Dallas is a strong food city as well. I was surprised actually that they only had one.
There's a little bit of competition between the cities, you know. If Houston hosted, Houston would have paid for it, right?
Yeah.
Paid the most, right? And then I was like, man, it seems like the other two cities are Austin and Houston conspired against Dallas or something, right? Because Dallas only got one star, right?
Yeah.
1 star.
But I guess that helps legitimize it too, right?
I actually gave Michelin a little extra money for that. No, I'm just kidding, Dallas. I lived in Dallas for a long time, so it's like I was happy to see so many people though.
Yeah.
It was great to see, again, friends. So many of my friends, it was nice to see whether they got the star or recommended. Kevin and Devel up there. It's nice to see them get the green star. And then I feel like all their restaurants they were there, right? Ladino and Hestia and Amber.
Yeah, I was already guys in there.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't surprised about them taking home a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that was nice.
But it just shows all the strength in Austin. And then with you guys on the scene now, next year's story is going to be much different. So everybody's scared. Crazy scared.
It's well, yeah, and then Matt's got Maven coming soon. Yeah. I don't know if we could say that. I could edit that out.
Well, I mean, there's a lot in the works. Yeah, things are. It goes back to everybody knows how expensive it is to open up a restaurant. And specifically in this market now too, it just in this city, it's not cheap. And so what we're trying to do is exactly what Paul said is you gotta create a successful business. It's got to stay open. No matter like if you're just shooting for an award and it's a very costly award, like you could be in over your head before you even get going. And so for us is, we're trying to look at this to a point where, we're being smart about it from a business perspective, but also push ourselves to the point where we know where we want to be. And so I think it's, Prelude was, a first phase of many. There's going to be a second phase and a potential third phase.
Yeah.
And so, Maven will exist within what we're building in some form of fashion, whether it's kind of like a pop-up, if you will. But it's a way for us to build a team, right? Yeah. And that's the most important. We can't, just because you worked at a 3-star or 2-star restaurant doesn't mean you don't automatically get an award for doing that. So you have to go out there and prove it. And so for me, it's about building a proper team that's going to get us to that point. And, that's the whole point of what Prelude is currently. And that's what the second phase is going to be, the continuation of building that team. And then we'll see where we go.
So when you're talking about building teams, it kind of makes me think, did you guys have an influx of applicants?
Yeah.
People wanting to work for you?
Not crazy, but I've had more than usual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had already started the hiring process like that week, and we got a couple of really good candidates, and they got hired last week. So
Really? I mean, is like everyone knocking on your door like, hey,
not
can I stage?
That's that. I mean, I'd rather take that. Right now we're getting some applicants, but not great. Even the ones that made it to the stage level and to the okay, you start tomorrow level,
Yeah.
no shows.
It's funny. 'cause-
And it's tough. It's a tough market, man.
Yeah, one guy missed an entire week and then was trying to get his called HR to see if he could still get his paperwork filled out because he was having trouble with it. I'm like, dude, no.
I got so many people in the DMs from Chef's PSA. I mean, a ton. I think I do. There's so many people like saying, "I want to work at Michelin." Like people that I don't even know, people that I've never met. Like when the awards came out, like, "Oh my God, so happy for them. I want to work at Michelin. Can you get me in?" I was like, "No." Like you reach out. Like I'm not gonna be the broker of employees. But yeah, a lot of people did reach out.
My business little.
Hey, you pay me.
So I've always
Obviously, $250 per connection.
So tell me what you guys think about this. For stages, I would like to take like a $100 deposit. Show up, do your shit. If you make it all the way to the end, I'll buy you dinner and give you your money back. But if not, like that's my time.
So Eater said, this is according to Eater. They said, this is Eater Austin, by the way. Visit Austin paid Michelin $270,000, and then Travel Texas paid Michelin 1.3.
Okay, so that's the state, and then
Yeah, that's the state.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the state.
And then what did Houston pay?
It doesn't say.
It's an accumulation of all that.
Sure.
There's because don't you have to? Is that the state payment or is that the city's paying the state? That's all of them being paid for.
I don't know. I think every CVB paid a portion, and then I think the state paid another portion. I don't know for sure. I kind of have bits and pieces from different people that have told me, but
Because how else would you decide where the hosting city is? And then it was kind of like in Florida. When Florida announced, I was surprised it was in Orlando versus Miami. But I mean, Disney's in Orlando, so I'm like, okay, they probably gave the most.
Yeah.
You know, so the host was there, even though it's Tampa, Orlando, and Miami.
Because it wasn't that big of a turnout, maybe like 1,000 people
Yeah.
in the whole room.
Well,
Yeah.
but it's not. It's invite only.
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would be interested to hear like some of your process as far as like receiving the questionnaire and everything, like because there was a lot of hearsay about what different people got. Did you have to upload photos? When did you get it? Did they actually come? Because we had a unique experience with them. We started doing this steak service to where you have to like email it to book, and so they were in a restaurant one day without us knowing until they said, "Hey, we're from the Michelin Guide and we want to book this steak experience." So that kind of put us all on high alert.
Why would they say that?
Because they wanted to book the steak experience.
Yeah, but it's.
They said
But they're fired.
Well, they said there was some Michelin Guide because we were booked out from the steak experience. Like we were fully booked out on it. And they're like, "Hey, can you squeeze us in?"
That means that steak is good.
I mean, the steak wasn't. The steak is very. But I know that different people had like we received like a questionnaire and we had to upload photos and they asked us specifically in the questionnaire like, will your menu change in the next few months? They asked us about green practices, which kind of alerted me to pot potential anything. I don't know, but what was your experience like?
So we started before I heard rumors of Michelin. We were already preparing for James Beard, and but like I said, in the restaurant, everybody gets the exact same experience. I don't care if you're Ian Zierling from 90210 or just regular Joe.
1 year, nobody knows 90210 anymore.
And yeah, have space. Gotcha. It was a table of 12. I couldn't bump him, and I just always remember like Steve from 90210 was going to come to the restaurant. But everybody was going to get the same experience, and that's what it says. Like, I'm not going to bump anybody.
Yeah.
From that time, like around October of last year till the announcement in July, we had several one-person diners. And we always keep an eye out for the ones, especially that order everything. The wine pairings, and then the tequila service, and then the coffee service. And so all we can really do is watch them. A lot of people write stuff down, and, we make sure that every plate is just as good. But is every place going out the same? So that was our experience. And then after the announcement, we started getting emails and requests for photos and to read this snippet that they had written about the restaurant to approve. And some questionnaires that they sent. Diego fielded most of that stuff, but that was coming through. And I know some of our other friends weren't getting those things.
Yeah.
Or they didn't even have a snippet already up. and so there was concerns about what was going to happen. But that's as much as I know.
But it seems like they're invested in you if they've given you more than 1 or 2 stars, right? So there is going to be conversation. I mean, would you agree with that?
Well, I'm sorry, going back, Kaylee and Lauren got several phone calls and interviews and requests for photos and bios well before.
Yeah.
And they got their own invitation to Michelin as well. So
Nice.
that's as much of the picture that I can paint without, knowing what happened behind the scenes.
They probably they'll probably figure out their process after this year to probably really streamline it. Because it seems like they're just kind of whichever market's just reaching out and trying to do it. It seems like a different way.
Yeah.
But
Will they expand to all of Texas, like El Paso and some of the other cities? Is that on the horizon? Do any of you know?
I don't know. I was hoping that they would have mentioned something in El Paso.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously because of our own roots, but I mean, I think there's some stuff worth mentioning there.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, because there's good restaurants over there as well.
I think if they want to look at the best barbecue in the state, they should look everywhere in the state. Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up a couple of restaurants that I thought, like, hey, these guys should have got noticed. I thought, like, Pasta Bar. I was surprised that their food is really nice. I know the chef de cuisine, Dan Kennedy, super talented guy. I was surprised that he, not just him, but the whole Pasta Bar didn't get.
they're gonna go after it. They're about to open their sushi bar again.
Yeah.
By scratch.
Yeah, I was surprised Otoko wasn't in there. Like that was a shocker for me. And I had heard rumors, and with the rumor mills churning, I had heard that they were like they're in.
Yeah.
I was so surprised. I mean, and these are great restaurants in my opinion in Austin.
I mean, she's extremely talented. Yeah. And, I was just telling him it's probably just because he's too rock and roll. That's what it is. He wants to be punk rock. That's cool.
Yeah, good.
But I mean, so here's the question. It's like, but is it, I think it goes back to the consistency factor.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, what's great about it is it kind of makes everybody kind of commit to the process a little bit. It's just like Otoko's been around forever. And I think, I ate there 6 years ago and it was fantastic. But I haven't been back in 6 years.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I'm so living off that experience 6 years ago. It's like, what? Something must have changed between now and then. It's just like, and maybe not, I mean, to some degree, but it's just like, I think even like Uchi, right? And I think Uchi back in the day was probably on another level. And all those people who experienced Uchi back in the day, it's just like, I mean, I could tell you experiencing Uchi now, I love it, but it's not, I don't think it's a Michelin. It's not the same. So, and I think at some point, there's just some honesty that has to go into it where it's just like, what do you want out of this, right? And just because they're big names, like a lot of people said the same thing about, what am I thinking of? The Italian steakhouse.
Carbone?
No, not Carbone. Red Ash. Yes. Everybody loves Red Ash. It's like I mean, I enjoy it for what it is. But, like, I would never have thought in a million years that that's a one-star restaurant. And a lot of people love it. And a lot of people sit there and say, oh, that's usually one-star. And it's not usually one-star. Exactly. So I think that's where, unfortunately, it's just part of the and it's the same thing with Jeffrey's. Like, everybody thought for sure Jeffrey's is going to get a star. So it's so many stars. Yeah. Right. But, I think it's quality, but it's also, like, I don't, like, when you sit there and actually digest the food itself, is it really worth 1 star? Is like, I think it's got this name and this story that I think a lot of people allude to, thinking that it deserves a star. But it's like when you really hammer in just the food element of it, I think that kind of changes some perspective.
I'm super happy to see Saud from 2M have gotten his recommendation as well.
Yeah.
Or Dip, I'm not sure.
I think you guys are opening the way right now, so now everybody's going to be excited to go into the San Antonio market.
San Antonio's been a funny market. It's a big city, but it has small city vibes. It feels like everybody from the border, myself included, moved to San Antonio because it was just chill enough, but big enough. Yeah.
It's funny. As a chef, I waited for Michelin I'm retired now, but almost 3 years. If I had known Michelin was coming 3 years ago,
you would have retired?
I wouldn't have. I probably would have stayed just to see.
Sure.
Yeah, you really want to weigh that, but I'm like, barely would have waited. We retired 3 years ago. I would have retired 3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you're probably right. But the markets were different there.
Retirement Michelin, I'll take the retirement.
When I look at there's a lot of legendary Texas chefs that are kind of exempt because of time.
Sure.
So there's some people that, I know Dean was recommended, but Dean for so many years. If this happened 10 years ago,
It's been so long though.
Dean was a guy.
Forever,
Or like a Stephen Piles, who I don't think he had anything. I'm trying to think who else. Robert Del Grande.
But these guys, you got to hand them their awards in their prime, right?
Right,
They got time,
but
right?
so-
in their prime.
So there's these guys, but then there's also a couple of other chefs that were just kind of out of contention because they didn't have restaurants at the time.
Yeah.
I look at like Gabe or Junior, right?
Yeah.
Junior, when Meridio was around, he probably would have gotten one.
Yeah.
Well, Bacalar is definitely a Michelin restaurant. There's no question about that. When I ate there the first time before it closed, it was just like, all right, this is Michelin's.
I would say the three of us on this side of the table, right? We were kind of out of contention, right? I'm just going to say that we would have, but we didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and a lot of us don't want to work towards an award per
Yeah.
se, and I'm in agreement with that. But at the same time, in a business model, these are the things that are actually keeping the doors open a lot of times.
Correct.
And,
It's important to business.
and so when I was asked earlier on, like, well, how do you feel about this? From me, it was like, well, the amount of business that's going to come in. Yes. It's like the news.
That's no lie. I mean, that's why I'd want any kind of nod for Michelin, just like get more people in the door.
Exactly.
But I feel like there are also certain chefs that once you do get that award, it's like all they want is 24 covers a day, and that's all they're gonna do, right? Like I was talking to the craft omakase sushi guys were in last night, and he's like, no, we're not gonna get busier. I'm capped at 24, and I'm capped on 36 on these 2 nights, and that's all we're gonna do, and we've already been booked out. So before Michelin, but now we're just booked out even longer.
Yeah.
I'm
kind of in the same boat, but I mean, there does come a point where I just don't have any more space at all.
No, we're
time or payroll. Like,
no, for sure. And you guys,
and this doesn't last.
yeah, no, it doesn't.
Like, I'm sold out, but that just means that I've already received all my money for December.
So you get to pay this.
Well, there's still large sales and stuff, but that's there, and so we have to make it last all the way through. And not just the money, but we also have to make that excitement last. And I think that one of the cool things that's happening right now is that I'm getting an influx of a lot of people that have never been to the restaurant. And I know that because some of the phone calls I get tell me that they've never been to the restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't understand how this works. Okay, well, let's talk about it. And then hopefully that is all we needed to get them back. So many people in San Antonio still don't even know that we exist.
Right.
The education piece is going to be super important because everybody's like, oh, it's Michelin, it's supposed to be this food. And I think y'all's job especially is to convince people what Michelin is, to define Michelin in Texas.
All right, well, yeah.
Yeah, within your...
I told my dad, he's like, oh, that's good, mijo. That's good. It took about a week, and I knew it was going to take a week of him, like,
Gotta see you on
yeah,
news.
so there's a C on his computer. They can do this research. He's like, okay, I get it. Wow, But even my neighbors, I've had neighbors for 12 years in the neighborhood, and we're all really good. We're all close. They all know I own the restaurant, and only until this week are they trying to get in. Where, I'm sorry, I don't have any space for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Do try.
Yeah. I mean, shit. I was in San Antonio last week, and we were eating pizza on the counter.
Oh man,
I
I
was
still
like-
feel bad about that service. Fuck. Like it really put a damper on the evening.
But I ate at the next day. I ate at
Ready to go eat pizza? I'm just kidding.
yeah. We had to eat pizza. What's right? So I ate at Isidore the next night. Food was really great. I mean, it's like I don't know. They should have gotten a call because I thought it was just as good as.
They just opened.
Yeah, they just opened. Like, it was great.
Those got a nod.
Yeah, Ducosi got called up. They opened at the same
They're
time,
even
right?
younger.
Though they're younger.
Yeah, by a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But anyway, chefs, we're
Jorge is going to crush it.
yeah, he's a
He's
stud.
going to crush it, man. That guy is,
Oh yeah.
So-
he's a stud.
Well, as we wrap up, just tell people listening where they can find you if they want to follow you, if they want to come eat at your restaurant.
Find me on Instagram, Rico__Torres, and the restaurant is at Michelin Cloud, and we're in San Antonio at Michelin.
I'm at Evan LeRoy BBQ on Instagram. The restaurant is at LeRoy and Lewis on Instagram, and we're in South Austin off Stastny.
Hi, I'm on Instagram. I'm a PQUI. I got a few restaurants in town, so just hit me up on Instagram. Perfect. Yeah.
It's at Matthew D. Peters. That's with 1 T. And then right now we have preludes. So come in and have a cocktail. We have some small bites, and then eventually we'll form into a restaurant come 2025.
All right, chefs.
Matt, Prelude is gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
The vibe of your spot is gorgeous as well, Chef. Like, amazing. So,
All right, Jen. That's it.
thank you guys.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show. You know what to do if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you leave 5 stars. Nothing less than 5 stars. It's a 5-star podcast. You already know that. If you want more content from Chef's PSA, you get early access to episodes on Spotify and Substack if you become a premium member, sometimes weeks before they get released to the general public. If you want chef brains, as I like to say, and you want some of the books that I've written, go to chefspsa.com. You get them there. You could also get some hoodie, merch, beanie caps, all sorts of things at the Chef's PSA store. So Christmas shopping, go get it now. We'll see you next week. Hit the porno music.
No André in the kitchen, mixing, dropping chef knowledge, no fiction, stirring up the beats, heating up the session. Listen close, classes in session.